will be showing you what's on my Samsung Galaxy. Changed the wallpaper, gave it some new widgets, gave it some new icon pack, just so I can have a different feel and look of a device. We all know new devices are out, but I'm sticking with my Z Fold 7. So I just wanted to make it look fresh, refresh it, make it look nice and new. So this is my outer display Z Fold 7 home screen setup. So at the top here, as you can see, I just currently have Google widget. This is the Google widget. This is at a glance widget. So I just threw that up there because it tells me that it's Wednesday, August the 5th. If you click on these dots here, it gives you the style, and then it gives you customization. And then over here, it just shows you the weather. And I can click in that real quick and get quick access to the weather to know what's going on around me. And then this widget in the middle is from an app called Musy. I'll make sure I drop a link in the description to where you can go find these apps and widgets that I'm currently using. But it's an app called Musy Widget, and it gives me access to customize the calendar. And I currently have the calendar to match the look and my theme of my setup. I can come in here and customize it even more. I can change the color, the transparency, so on and so on. Then at the bottom here, I am currently using the original Samsung Folders app, but I have it on customize, so that way I can get all of these icons sitting right there in a row. And then I also have gotten rid of my dock so it can look like I have more screen access. So I just have, these are apps that I use on a day-to-day basis. So I have Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, TikTok, Telegram, Messenger, Reddit, Google Play Store, my music app, Gmail, Gallery, text messaging app. This one is Expert Raw. The other one is the regular camera app that comes with every Samsung device. Then I have the Bible. I have YouTube Studio, my PayPal app, Keep Notes. Then I have YouTube, Settings app, the regular Notes app, Google Photos, and then I have Pinterest and the calculator. And I like to keep my devices clean with one page. So this is just one page. This is something that I can get quick access to. I always like to know the weather, the date, and if I have any events coming up. And then I always like to have access to apps that I currently use on a day-to-day basis, so I don't have to keep going in and out of the app drawer just to find what I need. They're right here on the screen. And then I'm also using the edge panel for my favorite contacts, as you can see. So this has been the outside of my display, and this is also what my notification panel looks like. Now, if you open it up to the inside, it kind of looks the same, but not really. So on the inside here, I do have a clock widget, which is coming from Music Widget. So that's a widget app, and they have different kind of clocks that you can go in there and customize and do the same thing with. And down here on this page, I do have Facebook, X, Telegram, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, the Google Play Store, Messenger, YouTube, my text messaging app, a regular camera app, and then settings, Bible. These are the exact same apps that I have on the outer display. I wanted to use them on the inner display, but in a different way. And then at the bottom here, I just have a Google widget, the regular Google widget, so I can get quick access to the internet and look up things that I want to look up, just like that. And then I also use the edge panels, and I only use it for my favorite contacts, so I don't have to have their pictures all over the place on my phone. I just have it right here, tucked away. And I also have the handle matching the theme. Wallpaper, I found it from Pinterest. I'll have to try to figure out how to drop it and drop a link in the description. I'm not quite sure, but I'll try to figure it out. But the reason why my wallpaper looks a little different is because I'm currently using Blur Walls. I like to use this app because you can come in here and grab your photo. And as you can see, you can blur it to however much you want it blurred. You can blur it all the way, or you can just blur it just a little. And I usually like to have my lock screen unblurred, my inner display blurred. So that's why that looks like that. This is, and I'm not currently running any kind of launcher. This is all being ran and held up by One UI. So I can come in here. I use Good Lock a lot. So I can come into Good Lock and I can show you some of my settings that I have set for my device to get that look and feel. So we can go to Home Up. And that's another reason why I love Samsung products, because Good Lock is amazing. You don't get Good Lock on other Android devices. So if you go in here in my Good Lock app, in my Home Up app, my app icon settings, I do have it set to 90%. And then I have show item labels on app screen. My labels, so that way my home screen can look pretty clean and not cluttered. Then I have black background blur control on, as you can see, for when you slide up. Then I also, on the inner display, I currently have a home screen grid of 5x6. My cover display, it is 7x7. I have widget settings. I have that all the way up to 110. I have remove the blur effect. Said I do not have a dock at the bottom of my screen because I like the cleaner look. It makes it look like you have more access to using your device, more screen real estate. And then I have folder screen grid 3x4, folder icon grid is 5x5. But then if you come in here, I do have a pop-up folder is small. I have variable size checked and remove blur effect checked. I do not have the apply folder background color. I have that checked off. So that is currently how I am getting this kind of look in this setup here in the folder, the folders. So with Good Lock, when you go into Home Up and you go to folders, you have a choice to where if you want to use it how they have it, to where you cannot customize it, or you can customize it. And I currently have mine on customized. That's why my folder looks a little different and I have more apps. And then I also took the transparency all the way down so you can see nothing. It's like my apps are just sitting on the home screen. And then this is my app drawer. So with my app drawer, I currently have it set to alphabetical order so it can get this kind of look and feel here. And as you can see, the wallpaper is blurred on in the background. And then I do have the labels under the app so I'll know what I am looking for. I am currently using Theme Park to get this little theme and setup. I'll show you that right now. This is nothing that I got off of anybody or anywhere. I like to go on Pinterest or wherever I'm going to go to find a wallpaper. And I try to find icon packs that match that wallpaper if I can. Found this wallpaper, and then I have One UI simple icons, and I'll show you the app in a minute. So pretty much with Theme Park, you can come in here, customize your notification panel to your liking, and as you can see, it is going along with my theme and my setup. That's what I like to do. You can customize the keyboard, but I'm currently using Gboard, so I don't have access to that. And then you cannot customize your text messaging because you have to use Gboard. So that's a downfall. You can't customize the phone dialer or your settings or your clock. Eventually, those will probably get up to date because some of these wasn't available to do that until they've gotten updates. So hopefully they'll get updates. Hopefully they can integrate Google Messages on here and maybe Google Keyboard. That would be nice if they could give you a choice for that. So currently that's what my theme setup is looking like to match my wallpaper. Then I can go to my icon pack, show you what kind of icon pack I'm rocking. Just go to edit. I'm going to act like I'm picking an icon. That way you can see what icon pack I'm actually using. So I'm using One U icons. And like I said, I'll make sure I drop a link in the description to some of these apps or most of the apps that I said with the widgets and the icon pack so you can go get it for yourself if you're interested. But overall, this is pretty much what I have on my Z Fold 7. Hope you found this video helpful, and I will catch you in the next video. I'm out.